everyone, and welcome back to Jola Speaks. Thank you for joining me once again today. Today we're going to be looking at what I've titled Your Works Must Be Tested. This is how we shine. So I'm going to look at Daniel 11 to 16, and we've been discussing Daniel. This was in the Daniel series, and we have been discussing Daniel quite extensively. And we're seeing chapter 1. It's a lot to go. It's a lot of learnings from Daniel. Having to show excellence, show clear success in the midst of adversity. And here I want to be discussing, the testing from the steward, when Daniel gave the steward the bold strategy to give them only vegetables as against the king's delicacies and still look better than the boys that were given the king's delicacies. It's an interesting one. I've done a Daniel fast before. Honestly, I lost so much weight. So I understand. So imagine that they have to eat the same vegetables that Daniel had said, without any meat and all the delicacies, and still have to have the look very nourished, have the same level of weight. Although I would say that, even though I lost a lot of weight in Daniel fast, my skin was much clearer. I felt much more healthier. It was, I had a lot more strength. It was amazing. So let me quickly read Daniel 1:11 to 16. So Daniel said to the steward, whom the chief of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please test your servants for 10 days, and let them give us vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearance be examined before you, and the appearance of the young men who ate the portion of the king's delicacies. And as you see fit, so deal with your servants. So he consented with them in this matter and tested them for 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their futures appeared better and fatter in flesh than all the young men who ate the portion of the king's delicacies. I highlight the word fatter because if one has done the Daniel fast, you would lose weight. And so literally, because they were able to stand on their feet, what have made them lose weight made them gain weight. Just think about it. Because God had already, enabled their bodies to respond to vegetables to make them fatter than the usual. Isn't it impressive? So thus the steward took away the portion of the delicacy because there was no point now, and the wine that they were trying to drink, and gave them vegetables. You see, it's important to remember that when one is delivering bold, unusual, not normal, looking impossible ideas or strategies, we should expect that it should be tested. In fact, we should ask for the testing, because think about it. No one wants to leave their comfort zone. People want to do things that they know, right? And if you're asking them to accept or take on a strategy that they do not know, expect the questions, expect it to be tested. And it is into that testing that one shines. Look at Daniel and his friends. They decided to eat the vegetables and water as against the wine and all the king's delicacies because they did not want to defile themselves with the king's food that was already offered to the pagan gods. And so we see here that actually, they did this fast. And Daniel says, you know what, I won't do this fast, but you know what, I know your fears, because the fear of the steward is that the king will have my head if he sees you guys thin and frail compared to the other men that were eating the king's delicacies. And so it's not that the man wanted to be difficult. No, he also wanted to know what is in it for him. And so Daniel says, test me. You think that I may not work. I want you to test so you can see that you work, so you're comfortable to do as we ask you to do. And you see Daniel and his friends taking vegetables and water for 10 days. And they were fatter and had a better looking appearance than those that were eating the wine, the meat, and all the delicacy of the food of the king, at that point in time. And you now realize that what should have made them lose weight, i.e. the fasting, eating only vegetables without all the delicacies, was literally making them gain even more weight and being fatter than the other men, right, that were taking the king's delicacies. Because God had, turned their bodies to be able to respond to vegetables as to increase in size as against reducing in size. God had turned their body to be able to take vegetables to add calories to themselves instead of reducing the calories. God had turned their bodies and turned the food to have much more calories than it should be, and made them even bigger than those that were eating all the meats and all the delicacies. Their works was tested. That testing obviously showed to Daniel and his friends that actually God is with us. God has seen that we put in our hearts, we don't want to defile, and God has helped us. And so in the midst of testing, God had helped us. Them 1 and 2, it showed to the steward that there's a better way of doing things, which is what Daniel had done. So the bold strategy that suddenly may have been a shutdown no became the reason and one of the ways Daniel and his friends shined before the men of Babylon. So expect testings, and as God had told you the strategy to do, once it's tested, it would work out. You will do the impossible because God had asked you to do it. Not about you do. No, it's not that you said yourself. God had asked, and you were able to tell you that God asked me to do this, and I did, and this is what happened. The result will show that indeed God had confirmed this to you, and God had told you to do it. And so, because they had put it in their heart to do so, see how God worked with them. And so, I end by saying that prepare for the test. You see, God is calling us to transform the world. We're the light of the world, a city on a hill that cannot be hidden. There are times, and there will be times coming soon, where God will be asking us to take bold strategies, ideas to combat a number of issues faced in families, in your organization, globally, in countries. And God is asking you to do that. Expect it. You see, when He tells you to do that, it may look strange. In fact, you'll be like, no. You'll be like, who, where, what? But you see, looking at Daniel's example, because it was not a bold strategy, ask for that to be tested. So say, you know what, this is the idea that I feel in my heart to do, or feel we should do, and all that. And you say, oh no, it doesn't work. I have tried it before, it doesn't make sense. Because in the ordinary, it cannot make sense. How can vegetables make someone fatter? Vegetables leaf. How with a full of water, how can it make someone fatter? So in the eyes of the world, they're like, it's not going to work. But trust God, that the one that gave you strategy, that this one would work. And so ask for it to be tested. Say, look, you know what? That's fine. Test and see how it goes. You see, when they themselves see the results, they will remove and forget their own strategy and focus on the better one. They're not doing this because they despise they're doing it because they also want to see how it will benefit them as well, and how it will protect them as well. And if they see it's obviously much better in all ways, and there are no issues, they will grab onto it. And in that way, guess what? You are shining, and God is shining through you to bring the world to Him. You are the one God is sending to the marketplace. You are the one God is sending globally. You're the one God is sending to the world. Take that step. Do the things that people think are undoable and unthinkable through the strategy that God has given you. Father, I want to encourage you today. This week, just take some time and pray about, Lord, maybe it's a problem that you are facing in your workplace, or at home, in family, or maybe even in the country, depending on where you are serving at the moment. Because remember that you are all on assignment. Ask God genuinely for a strategy to resolve that issue. And when He gives it to you, I encourage you, go and ask for it to be tested. Talk to people about it. And the testing may be in different ways. The testing could be like, you tell someone about it, like, oh my God, that is amazing. Or, would it work? Different ways. But I expect that you should share what God puts in your heart, and God will lead you on next steps of what to do. If there are naysayers, have for it tested. If there are no naysayers, and people are like, oh my God, this is a transformative, fantastic. But then you will now see in the little thing that you have done, how it is transformed. How people view God. Particularly, you are the vessel. You are the document being reading. but God is taking the glory. So that is my encouragement for you to do this week. Just sit down and go, no matter if it's something very small, just ask God. And you see how your life will be transformed. But you're asking God for His glory to be made manifest, not for your own glory. It's very, very important, because the reason why these men were doing it was because they didn't want to defile themselves with the king's meat, because it was contrary to their faith. So their actual aim was to please God. And so the aim of what you're asking God to do should be to please Him, not to gratify yourself. Very important to remember. So thank you for listening to me today. I write here as a key takeaway: when God gives you a strategy or a plan, expect it to be tested. People are naturally resistant to change, and they will need to see the results themselves with their eyes. Secondly, testing is not a setback, it's an opportunity to prove the wisdom and favor of God in your life. Thirdly, like Daniel, be bold in your strategy and trust that God will show Himself faithful to what He has called you to do. So thank you for listening to me today. And tomorrow we will discuss, or next episode we will discuss God's testing. Have a lovely day. Remember that I love you and God is with you, and I'm rooting for you to shine the light God has given to you. Thank you. I love you. Bye.